For several weeks, I had been carefully organizing a night out with my closest friends. The past few months had drained me, relentless work deadlines, non-stop responsibilities at home, and a constant emotional heaviness from trying to hold everything together. My husband, Daniel, had been growing increasingly distant. We weren't arguing outright, but the warmth between us had faded, replaced by a quiet emptiness. So when my friends suggested an evening of dinner and drinks at a stylish new Italian place downtown, I didn't hesitate. It felt like exactly what I needed, a break from the stress, a chance to laugh, sip wine, and feel a little bit like myself again. I didn't think it necessary to run through every little detail with Daniel. When he asked casually about my plans, I simply said I'd be going out with friends. He gave a short nod and didn't ask anything further. I hadn't lied. I just kept things brief. No harm done, or so I believed. The restaurant was everything I hoped it would be. Soft amber lights casting a welcoming glow, the quiet chime of glassware, and smooth music humming through the air. My friends and I nestled into a cozy booth, ordered starters, and began swapping stories between bursts of laughter. For the first time in what felt like forever, I felt light, unburdened, present. About half an hour in, I excused myself to use the restroom. As I walked back, something or someone froze me mid-step. My heart lurched. Seated just a few tables away, with his back to me, was Daniel. I'd recognize his posture anywhere. But he wasn't alone. A woman sat beside him, unfamiliar, definitely not a coworker or anyone I'd seen before. Her body was angled toward him, her laughter unfiltered and intimate. I ducked behind a pillar, pulse racing. I couldn't look away. I watched as she reached out and let her fingers brush against his hand. He didn't pull away. In fact, he looked more relaxed and engaged than I'd seen him with me in months. A sick wave rolled through me. I felt betrayal churn in my gut, but then, just as quickly, a cruel realization followed. I had told him I was going out with friends, but I hadn't been completely honest about where. He, on the other hand, hadn't technically lied to me at all. I returned to our table, pasting on a strange, tight smile, while my brain spun with the image I'd just witnessed. I tried to rejoin the chatter, to pretend I hadn't seen what I saw, but I kept drifting back to Daniel and that woman. How easily they seemed to connect. How natural it looked. I didn't know what to do. Should I confront him? Secretly follow them? Say nothing and try to move on? Every option felt unbearable. When the check came, my friends suggested heading to a nearby bar to continue the night. I declined, feigning a headache, though the truth was I just needed to be alone, to breathe, to think. Outside, I lingered near the shadows, watching the restaurant's entrance. 10 minutes passed. Then Daniel and the woman came out. They didn't hold hands, but there was something unmistakable in their energy, a chemistry that didn't need touch to be felt. They walked off together, their laughter echoing softly into the night. I didn't follow. I didn't call. I simply went home, collapsed onto the couch in the dark, and stared blankly into nothingness for over an hour. Then my phone buzzed. Still out with friends, the message from Daniel read. My breath hitched. Did he know I'd seen him? Had he spotted me? Or was this just another layer of the game we'd unknowingly started playing? I stared at the screen for ages before typing back. Yeah, home soon. The next morning, he acted like everything was perfectly normal. He kissed my forehead, brewed coffee, and asked how my night went. I lied again and told him it was lovely. He nodded, eyes still glued to the news feed on his phone. I studied him closely, suddenly unsure how much either of us had been pretending, how often we had ignored the widening cracks in our marriage. I didn't bring it up that day, or the one after. Instead, I began paying closer attention, watching for patterns, tracking his behaviors. I hated the idea of spying, but something inside me had fractured that night. Trust had dissolved, replaced with a relentless tide of suspicion. Eventually, the truth revealed itself. Late-night messages. A second phone I hadn't known existed. Her name, Emily. She wasn't just a one-time dinner date. She meant something to him. The confirmation shattered me. But at the same time, It gave me clarity. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't imagining the disconnect. He had already checked out, emotionally gone, long before I'd even noticed we were breaking. When I finally gathered the courage to confront him, he didn't try to lie. He just let out a long breath and said, "We've both been faking it for a while, haven't we?" I wanted to scream, to throw every ounce of my hurt at him, but all I could do was nod. That night, he packed a small bag and left. No shouting, no scene, just silence. Weeks have passed since then, and I find myself returning to that night over and over. That single evening that cracked our lives open. A random dinner out, a twist of fate that forced the truth into the open. A glimpse into what we had become. Two strangers clinging to a hollow routine, hiding from honesty. I wonder, sometimes, what might have happened if I hadn't seen him that night. Would we still be trapped in that quiet lie, smiling through the pain? Or did the universe decide to end the charade for us with one cruel, unavoidable coincidence? Whatever the reason, the fury has faded. In its place is a strange calm, relief, even. The truth, no matter how painful, set us free.